Hello everyone, my name is Salim and welcome to the Markets Breakdown Analysis for Monday, the 2nd of October 2023. We'll be breaking down charts and the exact zones where price will close for potential buys or close below for potential sells as well. So looking at the previous weekly candle, the weekly closed bullish, forming weekly support around 181.570. But now since the monthly candle for September came to an end, we're just going to do a quick preview on the high time frame. And what we can see here is the monthly candle for September closed bearish. Below this recent monthly support formed around 182.640, forming a new monthly resistance around 184.330. Now when we break down this monthly candle failed to break above the previous monthly high and failed to break below the monthly low as well. So obviously when we put a line at this level where this rejection was formed back in August 2023, this level is a monthly and a weekly resistance formed back in November and December 2015, hence why price didn't retest this area. Now, obviously since price formed resistance on a high time frame, now the anticipation is to see a pullback for the new monthly candle to form a top wick before breaking its own low to fill these wicks and continue bearish. Now, of course, based on a high time frame, we might not see a wick fill of this monthly candle simply because this is a rejection to the downside, because also when you drop down to the weekly time frame, this is the rejection to the downside from that monthly candle. Now maybe what we could see price retesting this previous daily support where the daily formed the fake out, so probably the monthly candle will just trade above this rejection. And now to break down the chart, and let's have a look on weekly again. So the weekly closed bullish, forming weekly support. So now the anticipation is for the new weekly candle to retrace, respect this weekly support, retest one of these previous weekly supports that have been broken recently before the continuation to the downside to continue bearish. When dropping down to the daily candle for Friday closed weak bearish, rejecting the upside, rejecting this consolidation area we've seen previously. So now to break down the chart and dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, clearly we can see this is a range on the 4 hour. So we have the most recent 4-hour support formed around 182.120. The most recent 4-hour resistance formed around 182.910. Dropping down to the hourly. Now we have an hourly support with obviously we have these two rejection on the hourly. So we're going to adjust the level of support based on this hourly support around 181.950. We have now a new level of resistance formed around 182.510. Dropping down to the 5-minute time frame, now we have a same level of support and resistance. More likely will be the same on the 50-minute time frame. And now to identify the no trade zone. And the first thing we can see here is we have an hourly resistance. So maybe we could look for buys as price break and close above 182.500. And for potential sells could be below 181.950. And this could be the no trade zone. There we go. And now to look for potential buys. So since the daily candle for Friday rejected the upside and closed weak bearish, rejecting those previous daily consolidation on the left, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a line to where this previous daily support formed around 182.780. Dropping down to the 4 hour, we have a recent 4-hour resistance formed around 182.890. Looking at the hourly, we have an hourly resistance. When looking on the 5-minute time frame and the 50-minute time frame, that's the same level of resistance as well. So I would say the first target for buys could potentially be this 4-hour resistance at 182.890. The second target for buys, now we have the daily previous resistance around 183.300. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame and looking on the left, actually on 4 hour. Looking on the left, and what do we see? We have this 4-hour range on the 4-hour time frame. This is really messy on the 4-hour time frame. Looking at the hourly, again, this is a really messy range. I'd probably stick to the high time frame. I would say the second target for sells could potentially be 183.300, targeting the top of the resistance formed on a daily around 183.300. And now to look for potential sells and going back to the daily. So the weekly actually, since a weekly formed support around 181.520, this could be a first point we're going to put a line at. Dropping down to the daily we have a daily support further down. This is still a good range, 44 pip range, looking at the 4-hour time frame. Now on the 4 hour, we have a previous 4 hour resistance formed around 181,600. Dropping down to the hourly time frame, again this is the previous 1 hour resistance. I would say the first target for sells could potentially be 181,600 target in this previous 4 hour resistance. The second target for sells, we have the first thing we can see is the daily support formed around 181,030. Dropping down to the 4 hour time frame, this is a messy range on the 4 hour, but we have an hourly support to be that has been formed around 181,120. We're looking on a 30-minute time frame. This is the same level of support and more likely will be the same on the 50-minute time frame. So I'd say the second target for sells could potentially be this 1 hour support formed around 181,120.
Dominion Markets, your trading sanctuary.